We are going live in 5, 4, 3, cue the music. Yells, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to GarageBand Weekly for another week here on Studio Live today. My name is Pete, and I'll be your host for an hour of GarageBand goodness. On the show today, we'll be talking about a bunch of stuff. GarageBand on Windows, is it a thing? No, it's not, and I'm going to be talking about why that sucks. We're going to be featuring GarageBand on the Mac. Yeah, I'm going to be putting my GarageBand Mac skills to the test. They're a bit thin, just fair warning on there. We're going to talk about likes and dislikes on social media. And my tip of the week is why you might be recording at a volume that is too high and why you need to turn it down. Welcome to the folks who are here with me live. We have here in the chat, we've got Nice and Easy, we've got Jade Star here, we've got Benedict Stewart Music, Tom Rochelle. I hope you are all doing well. Tom Rochelle and doing well. That rhymes, and you know that rhymes. Let's get into the news and notes of the week. And the first thing is that in tomorrow, a little bit later than this, I'm just setting it up now, but I'm going to be doing something a little bit special, and that is a GarageBand Quick Tip Marathon. So if you're watching this on the replay, then it'll already be down there, linked in the description. I'm setting it up right after this show. Should have set it up before, setting it up after. So do join me for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing the first 50 GarageBand Quick Tips. Now, these came from 2017 all the way through to 2019, and some of them are a little dated, but surprisingly, most of them actually hold up. And it'll be interesting to see not only what the content was, what's changed in GarageBand, what's changed about me and the channel here and my production, but also maybe learning a few things along the way, because there's a lot of things that I've included in these quick tip videos. They're all between 2 and 5 minutes, and we're going to do a big marathon live stream. So it's probably going to take us about 3 or 4 hours, and we're going to be settling in. So that'll be at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, and sorry, but starting at midnight for my friends in the UK and Europe, and of course 9 a.m. here in Australia. So especially for my Australian friends, don't work, or if you're at work, just have one screen on your spreadsheets and your boring stuff, and the other screen you can be hanging out with me watching 50 different GarageBand quick jam tips. So that should be a lot of fun. Number 2 thing I wanted to talk about this week, and it's not really news, but it annoys me every time I look this up, and I get asked this question a lot, and it's like, Pete, is GarageBand available for Windows? Is GarageBand available for Android? Now, the answer is a definitive no, and I know as soon as I say this, someone's already on their keyboard there. I can hear the clickety-clack of their mechanical keyboard, because they're definitely using a mechanical keyboard, and they're about to tell me that, Pete, well, actually, you can. You can run GarageBand on Windows. All you need to do is install Mac OS on a Windows machine and then run virtual software in order to create a Hackintosh and then connect it up and then install it. Basically, yeah. For the normal common layperson, GarageBand is only available on Mac, iPad, iPhone, and if you want to get really technical, iPod Touch 7th generation. So there are 4 different pieces of hardware that can actually run it. Now, yes, you can say that if you can work out a way to get a PC and then run Mac OS on it, breaking the terms of service, and then you can install GarageBand on that, breaking the terms of service, and then somehow get your USB audio interfaces, microphones, mixers, and other gear working with the drivers that they need across this weird, wonderful Hackintosh. You know what? By the time you've done that, for $700, you could buy yourself a Mac Mini and just be done with it. And I know that that's going to really annoy a lot of people, but here's what annoys me, is that the predatory nature of the way people are preying on people's desire to have. I know GarageBand is cool. I do an entire weekly show about GarageBand, so I'm the first person to tell you GarageBand is cool. But here's the problem. When you come in here to your Googles and you search things like GarageBand Windows, you get led down the garden path. So, the first ones are a little bit innocuous, but GarageBand Windows alternatives for GarageBand. But look at all this stuff. Is GarageBand available for Windows? Unfortunately, it's not. Okay, cool. There you go. And it goes to GarageBand alternatives. The second one, is GarageBand free on Windows? You need Windows 7, 8 or more to get GarageBand for Windows. And you go to this website. Do not ever click this website. GarageBand4PC.com. There is probably GarageBandWindows.com. There is GarageBand4Windows.com. What these people are doing is they're setting up a web page. They're trying to get ranked up here in the top of Google. Is GarageBand for Windows? No, it doesn't have an official version. There's a lot of websites. However, these methods aren't reliable. There you go. There's a good one. Thank you, Bloom Times. You've done well. But there's so many different links here that will lead you down the garden path and tell you that GarageBand for Windows is available and is a thing that exists. It does not. And the same for Android. If we go GarageBand Android, we're going to come in here. I can almost guarantee, I haven't even checked this yet. So the first one, thankfully, is GarageBand Alternatives for Android. But then look at this. Number 2. Do not click this. GarageBand Studio APK for Android. Yeah, you know what it's going to be if you just, which is like an application developer pack or something. If you install something like that, you can almost guarantee that you're getting hacked, or you're at very least getting some sort of weird ransomware or something weird going on your Android device. So no, do not do that. There you go, GarageBand4PC.co. Yeah, so there's all of these websites. Stay away from them. I get asked about them every week. Do yourself a favor. GarageBand does not exist. Here's the reason why. It's a piece of Apple software. Apple make GarageBand and they make it for free so that they can sell Macs and iPads and iPhones. They are not in the business of creating software to put on other platforms. That's why Final Cut Pro, Logic, GarageBand, or iMovie, all of the Apple pieces of software are not ported to any other platform because they're loss leaders. They're designed to sell Apple hardware, Macs, iPads, iPhones. All right. I didn't think I'd get into a rant on this one, but I did. I'm sorry. But it frustrates me every week because the only thing I hate more than people, being trolls on the internet is people creating false hope for people that are just genuinely trying to get stuff done. And if you know for a fact that something can't be done and you try and dupe someone into believing it can, yeah, hate it. Scammers, fake gurus, yeah, you're all on my list. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we get started here is alternative platforms for sharing on. So you might know that for social media point of view, there are so many platforms. There's the Facebook. Facebook has a number of great GarageBand groups, a GarageBand users group. I've got my own create, record, release Facebook group. Instagram can be great for connecting with people and connecting with other creators. Twitter is pretty cool for these sort of things. Reddit, Discord, Twitch, man, the list goes on and on. But what I wanted to say here is you don't have to be on every single platform, and you don't have to be using every platform the same way. And I say all that because I've started sharing on a bunch of different platforms, and one that I've found some weird synergy with is LinkedIn. And you're going to say, Pete, LinkedIn is for people trying to find a job. That's got nothing to do with music. But here's the thing. What I've worked out over time is that everything has everything to do with music. And there is actually a bit of a subculture of home recording and recording enthusiasts on LinkedIn. You know who else are on LinkedIn? All of the companies that make all the products that we love and all the plugins and all the applications and all the software. And the cool thing about LinkedIn is that it gives you a bit of a, this is a bit of a sneaky hack here, but it gives you a bit of a backdoor way to actually contact some people. So if you're trying to get hold of a particular company, they're not responding on Twitter, they're not responding on Facebook, or, you're trying to email them, you're just getting the brick wall blank. Just go to LinkedIn and search that company name and find the chief marketing officer or find the head of sales or find someone within there. And I won't mention any names, but you can think of some of the people that you can, stalk. Positive stalking here, people. But you can jump in there, you can find out, about them. You can then message them and say, hey, I do this and I've got this service and I want to offer you. Or, and again, don't be spammy. Like, don't get a form letter and just go to the CEO of every major music company that you can think of and say, I'm a person, I'm doing a thing. But if there's a company that you particularly like, people are pretty receptive to this sort of things. As long as you're not spammy, as long as it's not a robot, they can actually do that. So I wanted to share something cool. Before this show, I threw this over here. I threw this up on LinkedIn and I just said, hey, yeah, the power of niching down in business, and linked to my GarageBand Weekly show. And, whilst it doesn't, a post like that doesn't get a heap of engagement, the cool thing and the power of social media is that our friend Joachim Fischer there, he's just released a song called Kyrgyzstan Princess. It's actually a really, really cool song. And I wouldn't have known about that if I didn't post this on LinkedIn. So it's not just engaging on Facebook and YouTube and all the places that you can think. Think outside the box. do things with your music that you may not think are actually the right things to do. And again, not saying go out and spam people. I'm just saying sometimes you can just think a little bit outside the box. Alrighty, welcome again. We've got other folks who've jumped in here. Hello to Mark. Hello to Night Train 1988, Orchestra Eclipse. We've got Russ. We've got Kyle. Arnie G is in the house. Will Morrissey is in the house. We've got a bunch of folks. Dogbert. How's Dilbert? Yes, I agree, Mark. How is Dilbert? I do love Dogbert. Alrighty, let's move on because we've got a big feature topic here today, and this one, I've been nervous about this one because I haven't used GarageBand on Mac since I created my project here, which was GarageBand, my murdering time song. So what I wanted to do today here is just go through some basics of GarageBand for Mac, and especially for a GarageBand iOS user, just give you sort of a quick guide to getting started. The first time you open up GarageBand on Mac, what do? How do you work it, and what's the major differences? Because for someone like me, it's well out of my comfort zone. So here is GarageBand for Mac, and if I just hit the space bar here, let's just do a quick sound check and audio test, shall we, to make sure we're coming through. There we go. All right, we are cool. We have the ability to play here in GarageBand on Mac. Now, what we're going to do is I will close this project, and I'm just going to create a new project and show you that without any gear, so nothing plugged in. If you just say you bought your very first Mac and you're like, I got to check out this GarageBand caper. It's pre-installed. It's ready to go. What would you do? Well, we're going to close this project like so. We won't save, not that I've made any changes to it. So when you start GarageBand, you can actually come in here and start a new project. Now, there are other things. You can use project templates and things. We're just going to do a new blank project. And to be honest, this is what I used to do when I go into the Apple store and I'd grab a MacBook and I'd try and start using GarageBand, and I'd always get totally lost. So this is for you. If you're about to go into an Apple store and you want to try out a Mac and you want to put GarageBand to the test, you can do this. So I just tap choose on that one. Click. I've got a mouse. I'm not used to having a mouse here. So choosing a track type here. So this is where things are a little bit different. You don't have your swipey scrolly thing. You've just got software instrument. You've got audio. So you've got microphone. You've got guitar. And you've got a drummer track. Now you'll also notice that down the bottom here, it says I hear sound from USB audio codec. So this is actually my mixer. And if we click on that one, you can come in here and you can set your input and output device. And the very cool thing that I wish GarageBand iOS did is having a separate input and output device. So what I can do, you can see here, I've got my Scarlett 2i2, which is my USB audio interface. That's my input device. And my output device is actually not going to the Scarlett, it's going straight to my mixer. That's why you can hear the output, but when I plug the input in, it's not the mixer input because that's going here into StreamYard. So the Mac, in terms of routing, is very, very cool. So you can have two different audio devices plugged in, and you can be having them set up independently, which is cool. So we'll close out of that because we know that's cool. So if you're starting for the first time, now, assuming you don't have a sound card or an audio interface plugged in at this stage, we're not going to use audio, we'll use a software instrument. So we're going to tap this, we're going to go create. And here we are. Now, I'll close that out because I'll show you that in a moment. You're going to default in here. We've got an electric piano, but of course, we don't have a touch screen. Again, if you're an iOS or an iPad or an iPhone user, you'll be thinking, where's my touch screen at, Pete? How do I do this? Well, first of all, let's change this instrument out. So we'll just get a regular piano, shall we? Piano, we'll go the Steinway Grand Piano. But of course, how do we play it? Well, there's an easy solve here. If we hold down the Command key, or in my case, the Windows key, because I'm still using a Windows keyboard, and hit K, we get the musical typing keyboard. And yes, I wish GarageBand iOS had this, because it doesn't, and it's actually a really cool way to enter notes, because now that I have this, guess what? We can actually start typing directly in. So my A key, you can see there, I'll just hold the mouse over there. So when I tap A, then W, S, E, D, F, T, G, Y, H, U, J. The most messed up alphabet you'll ever heard. So you've actually got all of the options that you need here. Let's grab something a little bit more fun, because we want to, let's start with a bass, shall we? And we'll go the Liverpool bass, because I get to do an accent, even though I've been banned from doing accents. So here's our bass, but you're like, Pete, basses aren't all the way up there, are they? You can't use your bass up there. So what we can do, we can change the octave. So see down in the bottom here, it says octave C4. We can actually hit the Z key, and look at that, it goes down to C3. And up the top there, it'll change. And you can actually click up the top here as well to tell it where you want to go. So if we want to be down here at C1, which we do, we can just use the X and the Z or Z keys to change our octave. And then we've got our bass there. So let's just... Let's just create a bit of a funky groove here with this bass here. So to record for the first time, again, you're sitting in the Apple store and you've got the Mac and you're playing around with it and the salesman's looking at you dodgily and, you know, they're saying, hey, sir, would you like to buy a $2,000 Mac? And you're like, I'm good for now. I'm just playing. So we can actually record here. To record, we can either click the record button or hit the R key. So you notice that none of these keys are the R key, and that's because we can use that to record. So let's hit R and we're going to go. There you go. We'll just put 4 bars together. Hit space bar to stop. So there you go. You've already learned a couple of keyboard shortcuts. R to record, space bar to stop. And then if we go back, we can hit the enter key to go to the back to the start. Again, all the keyboard controls here. Keyboard shortcuts are significantly superior on Mac, I must say. And then we hit space bar. There's our bass groove. Yeah. And again, we haven't plugged in a single piece of hardware. We're able to use this. There's other functions here on the typing keyboard that I'll show you in a moment. But for now, again, we'll hit the enter key. Let's add a new track. And that is as simple as right-clicking here and going new track. Let's add a drummer in here. Because your drummer options, you'd be familiar with drummer if you've been using GarageBand iOS. But check this out. We got a whole bunch of different drummers in here, yeah? We got people like Curtis. We got more of these. We got Roots Brush. We got Austin on the Roots Brush. Now, having brush drummers is something we don't have in GarageBand iOS. So this is where you start to find these differences. I'm an iOS fan. Don't worry, I'm not throwing iOS in the toilet. But to be able to have someone that can do something like a Roots Brush sound, let's take a listen to what our man, not Library, that's not his name, Austin. I wonder if Austin comes from Austin. So let's hit the space bar and see what we get by default here. Not good at all, right? Why? Because down here in our drummer settings, it's at two times. So if anything, we want it to be at half time. But no, we'll go down here. We'll put it down here to number 2. So we want it to slow down a little bit. We want it to be a little bit less complex. And we need to add some swing. And here again, here's where you get some thing. Not only do you get the fills that you can change here with a big slider like that, but you don't just have to say how much swing, like whether you want swing or not, like 8th note or 16th note. So I think this is probably going to be an 8th note swing. So we'll click 8th note swing and let's give it 50% swing, shall we? Because it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing. And then we can hit the space bar. Now we're getting there. So if we turn the swing up a little bit more, let's go maybe 60% swing. Now we're in the groove, right? There you go. Kyle's got some tips here too. You can also nudge over or back a bar with the, yeah, there you go, with the what is it? The full stop and the comma. There you go. Absolutely. Sorry, we've got Josephine. Hello, Josephine de Smet. I don't know what you're talking about, wet keys, but we'll move on from there. So we'll come back over here. Turn that one off. There we go. All right, so we've got ourselves a bit of a groove here. We can, of course, trim this down just like you can in iOS. So we've got our 4-bar groove here. So you can really quickly start building something up. And again, we haven't touched a MIDI keyboard. We don't have anything installed here. We're all good to go. Let's just add a few more software instrument tracks here, shall we? Because if we're going to do some jazz, we need another key instrument. We need something like a vibraphone. Do we have something like that? We've got mallet instruments, or we do. So we have a vibraphone, and this is one of my favorite instruments of all time. So if we hit, again, our Command K to bring up our keyboard, you can also go Window here and Show Keyboard. So boop, hard keyboard, and then Control K. So you've got 2 different sorts of keyboard. You can have it like this, where you can just do that, but of course, having the typing keyboard is cool. And now this time, we don't want to be down here at octave C1. We want to bring this sucker up. So we'll hit the X key and come up to, say, C4. Maybe we want to be down a bit lower. let's do something like that. Now you'll notice here that we've also got other options there. So, excuse me. Frog in the throat always on this show. You'll notice that we've got options there in the top left corner. So we've got our pitch bend. So we can use the 1 and 2 key for pitch bend. And then we've got modulation. So we can have modulation off. And then we've got very different levels going through 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 8. We probably want a little modulation, maybe number 5. Very cool. We can also change the velocity down the bottom here. So you've got your plus and your minus. So you can either click them on there, or you can use your C and your V buttons to change the overall. So we probably want this around about the 88 velocity. Actually, that modulation is not doing it for me, so we're going to turn that off. There you go. And finally, you've got your tab button here for your sustain. So you can actually give yourself some sustain built in there. So that's pretty cool. Let's add to our jazz track here, shall we? So once again, we're gonna hit the record button by hitting R. Very cool. We need some yeah girls in there, don't we? Just to finish it off. In fact, I don't have my microphone, do I? I'm going to have to be super unprofessional and like wheel myself over to the other side of the room and grab a mic because I did want to record some vocals on this track. But let's just try one more instrument here, shall we? So we'll go right click again, new software instrument, because not only can you play the drums, say we didn't have Austin doing the thing here. I actually like Austin, but we can actually come in here and add our own drum kit. And let's say we wanted to add the Speakeasy drum kit. This sounds like a cool drum kit for this sort of thing. We can once again bring up our keyboard, and if we go right down to octave C1, down here using our Z key. There you go. We need a... All right. So we can do this. Let's hit the record button and let's record in some Speakeasy drums. R. And then... Yeah, I think Austin's not got any problems. He won't be losing his job there. But I just wanted to show that even your drum kit, and you'll be surprised at how cool just using your typing keyboard can be. So I think this is gold. This is one of the things where people say, oh, when you're first starting out, don't get a Mac, get an iPad or an iPhone because you got the touch screen. I mean, the typing keyboard, yeah, you don't have velocity sensitivity. Yeah, you can't sort of, play multiple keys at once. It's not as intuitive as the touchscreen, but you definitely got some options there. Okay, I thought I played them terribly, so we're going to leave it back to here now. So let's try and add one final instrument here. So do we have any guitars? Let's see if the guitars are just as bad in GarageBand Mac as they are on the iPhone or iPad. So let's add a classic clean guitar here. We'll cut out our old version there. We'll turn it back on here, and let's go here, and I think that's exactly the one. There you go. Mark usually goes 66% swing when needed. There you go. Am I on 66% swing? Maybe. Is that what we had on our drummer track? Where are we? Yeah, we are. We're right around there. There you go, 66%. All right. I get a bit carried away here. So again, we'll go back and go Windows key and K, or of course Command K. And now we've got our guitar. So again, we'll bring it up here. And we'll see if we can do... We'll just do some random pattern here. So we'll hit record, 2, 3. I'm being completely the wrong key. But that's okay, because I wanted to show you our undo. So to use undo, you can come up to edit, you can undo MIDI recording there, or of course you can use Command key and Z or Z, and then hit enter. So again, like most things, once you get your keyboard shortcuts underway, you're actually quite good here. So let's just come up here and we'll hit record again. I'm totally in the wrong key. We don't need guitars. Where we're going, we don't need guitars. So let's delete that one out and just get rid of it. We'll just go with a simple vibraphone. We've got a 3-piece jazz band sorting us out here. Now, we need to add a vocal track. But you know what? I don't have a mic or a mic cable here. So we need to find one to do this with. This is professionalism at its best. You get to see me slide over here, grab my mic drawer. We're going to go with this one, the AT2020. We're then going to grab a mic cable, which is this one. No, it's not. This is really, really well done here. You're seeing behind the scenes. That's not it either. That's not it either. We're back. Wasn't that exciting? So I'm going to use my Audio Technica AT2020 here. I just have to find a mic cable. And since I've been doing lots of gigging lately, I have used all my cables in my my mobile rig, so they're not sitting here at the studio. So we're going to grab this. Here we go. It's not red, but it'll still go reasonably fast. Where's my headphones? There they are. We'll put these back on. So the cool thing here is that we can actually plug directly in to our Scarlett 2i2. So I'm just going to plug into channel 1 here. And I'm going to plug this microphone in here and do some experimentation. So we're going to record it. I haven't done this since I recorded Murdering Time, the song that you heard at the start there. So we're going to go audio track here. And this time we can come in here. We're going to use voice. We'll go with a classic vocal sound, shall we here? And down the bottom here, you can see we've got our Scarlett 2i2. We can do either channel 1 or channel 2. We've got our monitoring on there. Check 1, 2. But we don't have our 48 volts of phantom power on. So we're not coming through. Is this going to be a total fail? Am I going to not actually get this working? We're going to need your help here. We're on channel 1. We don't have the record enabled. Is it not coming through? It's not coming through. I was going to do a really awesome yeah girl. This could be an epic fail. This is the beauty of live here, folks. And this is why you can tell that I don't actually plan this beforehand. So let's go through logically and see what we need to do here. We've got our vocals set up there. We have monitoring on. We've got our microphone plugged in. And we have it set to line mode. We have our input gain dialed up. And we're not actually getting it. Right. So if anyone who's a better GarageBand Mac user, I told you this would be the blind leading the blind. Let me know what I'm missing here. So we've got it set up there. We've got everything plugged in. I'm clearly missing something really obvious here. Forget this being like this is why you should use Mac instead of iOS. Clearly not when Pete's teaching you. No, we've got nothing there. And we're definitely on the right channel. Let's just try the other channel. Yeah, I know, Gary. I'm on Mac today. Cool, except not really. Cool, except that I'm breaking things. We're going to go to this. Let's just try it. We'll go over to channel 2. Check. 1, 2. No, nothing coming through. So I've not done this well. So we're definitely on the Scarlett. We've definitely got our output coming through here if we hit play. And nothing's happening. So go figure. Yep. We'll try. Do I have a different one? Go to track and enable the record. This might be it. Yeah, because I don't have the record button. I thought it recorded automatically, but you do have to. Now you can configure the track header, the record enable, and the track lock buttons. We'll put them on there. There we go. So they're there now. Record enable. Check. 1, 2, 3. It's flashing, but it's still not recording. Check. 1, 2, 3. Nothing's happening. Oh, wait. Yeah, no. We're on the right channel. We're on the right track. If we direct monitor, check. 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's not coming through either. I don't know, man. We may be going, hey, girl-less. So we may have to come back and try that again at a later stage. So there you go. That's how easy it is to use a Mac. I have not done it justice because I didn't do my research. I watched a Dean Davis video and Patrick from the GarageBand guide video before this. Anyway, I do all of this, and I say all of this to ask you a question. And that is, well, actually, I think I've answered my own question here. So the question is, do I continue learning GarageBand on Mac, or do I take the plunge and check out Logic on Mac? So if you're here live on the show, or if you're watching on the replay, I just want you to do one thing. I want you to say GarageBand or Logic. So do I just continue on with GarageBand, considering that my skills are rusty, shall we say, to say the least, or do I take the plunge and jump in and do the free trial? Because once I start my trial of Logic, that's it. There's no going back, yeah? So we have to just continue on there. So let me know that. Put the record level up. It was my... Well, yeah, I couldn't because it's grayed out because I'm using an audio interface. I can't change the record level. It's not going up. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna work it out afterwards. But I don't want you to have to sit here and do that. All right. So yeah, let me know. Do we continue on? Do I keep struggling with GarageBand, or do I just take the plunge and learn Logic and just go, yeah, let's do it? And do GarageBand. Actually, that's a good point because GarageBand. Apple had a 30-day free trial of Logic Pro, and I just want to see if that is still going on, because if it is, there you go. Here's the free trial. We'll see if it's there, and if we get enough support here, we might do the free trial. So there we go, free trial, 90 days. You can download it and you can start the free trial for 90 days. So we'll find out what you vote for and whether we continue with GarageBand, and then maybe this show becomes Logic Weekly. It never will. It's fine. Don't worry. I'm not getting rid of it. Yeah, the input was the Scarlett too. Tell you what, if we get time at the end, we'll circle back because I don't want it to be all about this for the entire time. So we will circle back at the end. But for now, let's move on to our rant of the week because interestingly, I got a notification this morning. I jumped into Instagram. Speaking of social media, jumped into Instagram because there's some cool people like Mark Guest Guitars on Instagram. I know Josephine's on Instagram sometimes. Joanna Jan. A lot of people sharing cool stuff on Instagram. So I go there occasionally and I see what's cool. And I went there today, and you may know that here in Australia, Instagram removed their likes, so the visibility of likes. You can still like stuff, you just can't see how many likes are on other people's posts. And even your own posts, you have to actually go in to see the likes that are on there. I thought this was a cool move, because the challenge I have is I think a lot of people are sharing a lot of things on social media and judging their value based on how many likes they get. Is this just me, or are other people sort of finding the same thing? And to the point where there are some people that are sharing things on social media and then removing them if they don't get enough likes in a certain period of time, which I think is just craziness. Like, you don't do things for the likes. You don't do things so that you can just look popular in front of other people. But apparently some people do. So Instagram or Facebook, who own Instagram in Australia, came out and they just removed them. They just dropped it on us one day. They said, right, likes are gone. I thought this was cool. A lot of people were up in arms. They're like, but when I share my bikini photo or my photo of me wearing my banana hammock, I want people to like me. And I need that reaffirmation that people like it. Guess what? Gone. Out of here. Anyway, so that went away. What I noticed today is I logged in and it said, would you like to turn it back on? So it seems that we're getting this intermediate thing where Instagram are now saying you can choose whether you want to view likes or not. So basically it's how conceited are you? On a scale of off to on, how would you like to see, or actually how judgmental are you? Because it's not even about you, it's about being able to see other people's. So I don't know, what do you think of that? The ability to turn on and off the likes. You can already do it here on YouTube. So I could actually set this video to not have visibility of likes and dislikes. So when you go down right now and hit like button, even though Pete just epically failed on that GarageBand demo, if you go and hit the like button or the dislike button, I could actually have it set so that that won't show up at all. Like it'll say disabled. Same with comments. I can disable comments. If I want to live in a bubble and not have anyone giving me any feedback at all, I can actually do that. You can't do that on other platforms. But then again, other platforms only have the like, they don't have the dislike. So that's probably a little bit different. But I just thought that was weird. And to me, the concern I have is when people are doing things for the approval of other people who they don't even know, and in a lot of cases don't even like. That to me is quite damaging and potentially toxic. So that is my rant for this week. That when you're sharing your stuff, Sometimes you'll share something and you won't think much of it, and a bunch of people will jump on board and think it's super cool. Sometimes you'll work your guts out and you'll create a piece of music that you think is amazing, and it will fall flat because the audience is the audience. The market is the market. The listener is the listener. You can't control them. You can't control their taste, and you certainly can't control the algorithm that puts your stuff out there to people. All right. Let's see. Do you think I should take Logic or GarageBand? Let's find out. Dogbert is on board for Logic. My Nomad Travel Life says Logic. Tom Rochelle, well, I'd like to see a deep dive into Mac GB. Mark says start with GB. I've clicked it. Yeah, I clicked a button and it went down. There you go. Your iPad is a comfort blanket, Pete. It beckons. I know. I should probably just go back to the iPad. Night Train 1988 says GarageBand. There you go. Okay, you should get main stage so you can expand the instrument. There, maybe that's an in-between, Tom. Maybe I grab main stage so I get the additional GarageBand instruments, and then I take a deep dive into GarageBand. There you go. Cut my check recordings. There you go. Garage, if we're going to utilize iPads and Logic, we're going to be on desktop or laptop. Yeah, so I'm on the desktop here. Dogbert says, I got Logic recently and found that you can save a load of money by connecting your iPad to your MacBook with IDAM and using your iOS instruments, and it's so good. I've heard about that. I reckon Jade Star, I think you've demonstrated that before. It does look pretty cool. Mark says, I appreciate the likes. Thank the people who commented, but I don't live by it. And I think that's a very healthy place to be. Tom says, it should be up to you. I don't mind the likes. It's the dislikes I'm not fond of. Right there with you. Absolutely. If you don't know who the poster is, then it helps to see the number of likes. That's a good point, Ed. So do you determine things based on the number of likes? Is that a measure that's actually going to be relevant for you? If you're, say, looking at a tutorial and you see that it's had, one tutorial's had 1,000 views and 3 likes, and another tutorial's had 20,000 views and 120 likes, are you going to watch the second one? Probably. So yeah, maybe it is just a way of quality control. And I don't mind it from that sense. From that point of view, maybe it's just, hey, this is something that's going to be better than the other thing for you. Night Train 1988, I don't even look at the likes or dislikes on my channels. I put content out for me. And that's definitely the way to do it. Definitely the way to go. My Nomad Travel Life, voting for Logic again. There you go. And yes, Jay does have a video on IDAM. IDAM, for some reason, sounds like a device you put in your mouth at the dentist to catch your spit while they're drilling. Excuse me, Mr. Johns, I'll just insert the IDAM and then we'll get to work. Or is that just me? I don't know. All right, we'll move on from that. And we'll move on to our tip of the week. And I'm going to go back to my comfort zone here. I know I was going to try and stay in GarageBand on Mac for a bit longer, but I just can't do it because I need to go. You know what I should do? You know what a cool video to do would be? To go over to Patrick or Dean Davis and to do their courses. To actually do some GarageBand courses and do them live here on the channel. I wonder if they'd agree to that. I think Patrick would. We'll have to ask him. I'll say, Patrick, I want to do your GarageBand guide course. And then he'll go, Pete, you have been banned from Accents. We've discussed this. And I'll say sorry. And we'll move on. So let's bring up my iPad screen, shall we? We'll do this. We will mirror it to my Mac. The Mac Mini, by the way, a lot of folks have been asking lately, how's the Mac Mini going, Pete? It's going really well. The stability has improved significantly since the last Mac OS update, which I think is 11.3 or 11.4. Don't quote me on that. So yeah, I'm actually finding it better because I was having some issues. You'll know early on I was having issues with. Why won't that go away? Oh, there we go. I was having issues with with the screens. So I was having a weird, bizarre issue where it would just flip my screens around every time I turned on. That was fixed with one of the updates. I was having issue with reflector. That seems to be fixed. And as I say this, I'm probably going to break something in a moment. So yeah, it's been going well. But you never know. You fix one thing and then you tend to break another thing. But at the moment, yeah, all is good. And I still haven't heard the fan come on. So I still haven't really put it to the test and heard the fan come on. Yeah. And again, it's so whisper quiet, reliable, runs GarageBand well, except when Pete doesn't work out how to actually do it. Now, this will be a good test here, actually, because for this tip, I'm going to plug in my microphone and we'll use this cable. We'll probably learn that it's just this cable that's buggered. And what I should have done is actually plugged this mic over into the interface instead of using a new one, because I know this mic and cable are working. Maybe we'll do that. If this doesn't work for this test, maybe we will. So I'm plugging my microphone into my Steinberg UR22C, which is plugged into this iPad that we have running right here. We will bring up my mouse cursor here. We'll scroll on. Oh, we don't want drums. All right, at least we know that the audio is working. Okay, we don't want drums. The mouse control that we have here in GarageBand and in Apple in general, still not great, because you can't do things like actual proper scrolling. So I can scroll up and down with my finger, but if I grab my mouse pointer and try and scroll up and down, it won't work. And my scroll wheel does work, but it can't do things like sideways scrolling. So it's a bit of a pain in the butt. So let's hit the plus button here. So like right here, I just want to sideways scroll through these, but there's actually no way with my mouse. I'm going to reach up with my hand like an ape and actually do this here. So let's go voice. We'll turn on monitoring. Check. See, it's working perfectly. It's almost like proving that, yeah, things are better on the iOS world. They're not. Don't worry. Don't freak out. I'm sorry to all the Mac users. But, yeah. Oh, you want me to reggae? That could be interesting. What's this backing track? I've actually forgotten what this backing track is. So let's just play this. Yeah, this could almost be a reggae. This could almost be a reggae beat. So let's bring, again, see, I tap and hold and try and drag this up, and I have to use my finger, like a common mouse. Yeah, mice have fingers. You heard me. All right, so we'll come back here. We'll come back to the start of the track. So the tip of the week this week is record your audio at a lower level. Seriously. The number one problem I hear with people is that they have their audio recordings up too loud. And there's two concepts here that you need to understand. One is the output volume and one is the input volume or input gain. So your output volume is this here, right? So regardless of what you recorded, you can have this anywhere. This doesn't affect whether you clip your signal, whether you get distortion, or whether your audio sounds good, bad, or otherwise. This is just your output volume. But when you're recording, you need to be really careful about setting your input volume. So let's show you how we do that now. So I've got my backing track here. I've set an audio recorded track. We're going to tap on here to come into the microphone settings. Here we go. If we turn our monitoring on, check, 1, 2. Can you see over there? Check, 1, 2. See how that's peaking right up there? It's in the yellow, it's hitting the red. Anytime you get a red, especially those what I call a leave behind, I don't know if it's called that, that's what I call it, but when we get a leave behind like that, it means that you are going over 0 dB. That's called clipping, and in the digital environment, digital clipping is absolutely terrible. You don't want digital clipping. Now, you might be thinking, Pete, your input gain's grayed out there, buddy. What are you going to do about that? You can't actually change it. Well, that's because I'm using an external audio interface, so you can't see it. But down here, I have my Steinberg UR22C, and that has a simple single dial there for input gain. So what I'll do is if I put the input gain on this microphone all the way down to 0, that's this one I'm holding in my hand here. We turn monitoring on, check, 1, 2. It's only just coming through. See how it's just coming through there? And if I turn this microphone off, hello, you can barely hear me. So that's not going to do it all, right? So we're going to slowly turn this up. So the way that I tend to do this is I'm going to sing like I'm going to sing in this track. I'll turn this mic down, I'll sing into this track, and then we want to get this where your input is hitting between 50 and 70%. If you're up here at 80 or 90, there's a high chance that you're going to occasionally hit 100 and over 100, and that's going to be bad for your sound. So what we'll do is I'll turn off this mic, we've got this mic on, and we will sing and dial it on up. So let's turn this one down. This is how we are gonna sing. We're gonna turn up our input gain, everyone. We're gonna get it all up to 50%. Make sure our peaks are not too high. Yeah, girl. There you go. We are done. And it is as simple as that. We'll take our monitoring off there. So it's as simple as that. So now when we're singing, oh yeah, we're not very loud. And this is the thing. A lot of people think, oh no, my volume, it's so wimpy. It's not going to be loud enough. This volume is almost irrelevant. As long as you're up there, as long as you're not down here, as long as you're up there at 50 to 70%, you're in a digital environment. You've got a very low noise floor. You're going to be able to survive, right? It's going to be able to cope fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this compressor down a little bit. I'm going to turn a little bit of this this reverb down because we've got a little bit of an intense sound. If we turn this back on, and let's just have a quick run through. I just need to work out this backing track. It sounds like this. All right, I think I've got an idea. I think I've got an idea of something to sing here. We're going to sing about input gain and the importance of it. Did I mention that I don't actually mind making a fool of myself, especially when it's for your entertainment? So we'll come over to here and we'll hit. Actually, I'll show you bonus tip. Because we want to watch it on this screen, I'm going to use the dummy track method. I've showed this before, but it's super cool. We're going to hit plus here. We're just going to add another audio recorder track here, but this time, because I'm using a 2-channel interface, I'm going to pop this onto channel 2. Leave monitoring off on this one, and this is just going to act as a dummy track. So we're going to grab this track and we're going to bring it all the way up here under our other track. And there you go. So we're recording on both of these tracks now. See how we've hit the record light on both of them? But I only want to monitor on this one. And so we're going to be recording across these 2 tracks. It just means I'll be able to see my backing track, right? All right, let's just play again to make sure we're right. All right, and we wanted, Clayton Vaucluse wanted reggae, yeah? So we're going to try and reggae this. All right, we ready? I'm going to turn this mic down. We're going to be over on this one. We're going to record some reggae. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high, or you will get your digital clipping and nobody likes it. And your mom won't like it too, yeah, girl. What do you reckon? We good? If anything, we were probably a little bit high. And this is the thing. You got unlimited retries. So we're going to just come in here and take a listen to this. Now, I don't recommend soloing a vocal, but just to listen back to make sure that we're not clipping, we're not getting distortion. Let's just try this. We'll hit play. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high, or you will get your digital clipping and nobody likes it. And your mum won't like it too, yeah, girl. All right, I think we're cool. So if anything, it's probably a little bit crispy. You can change that. But the good thing is you notice there that we're not peaking. Now, this is where I want you to take a really close look at this. If this is too quiet now, if you're bringing this into the mix, in fact, let's bring it into the mix and we'll mix this, because if we double tap, that's our normal gain that we have there. If we play this back, what we can do is actually adjust this volume, and you'll notice that no matter where I put this volume, we're not going to get clipping. I'll show you. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high, or you will get your digital clipping and nobody likes it. And your mum won't like it too, yeah, girl. There you go. So you'll notice here, these leave behinds, these are on our output channel. So it's still not a great idea to have your gain up too high or your volume up too high on the output, but it's not actually clipping. Your clipping happens on the input. Your clipping happens when you record it. It's not here on the output. That's why when you're using a virtual instrument, you don't really have to worry that much about clipping. So if I grab this French horn and turned it up too loud, is this going to actually go up there? No, it's too low. So is there anything here that's maybe this Latin rock piano? If I turn this up too loud, is this going to... Yeah, so see how that's doing that? That's just because I've got the output set. But this is a virtual instrument. This doesn't actually have the ability to clip because it's a virtual instrument. It's recorded. It's just sampled sounds that it's putting in there. So it's actually going to be fine. Now, just because I'm a bit pedantic here, I want to actually add some effects to this. So as you know, we can come in here, we can start tweaking this. So I don't have I don't have auto tune on this one. So we kind of want that because it's a reggae song and I missed a couple of those notes. I'm going to come in here and we're going to change this from lead vocals. Oh, yeah, we do. Sorry. We're on lead vocals. We have pitch control. So let's T-paint us up a bit and let's add a little bit more vocal hall on here. And because, again, it's a reggae style, we need some delay. So we're going to add some master echo in here and we'll do some, maybe some eighth note echo. Where we go. Or maybe, yeah, we'll do some dark eighth note echo. And we'll see what this comes out like. Oh, it's always fun, isn't it? All right, so here we go. This is my new song called Don't You Clip. Sure. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high, or you will get your digital clipping and nobody likes it, and your mom won't like it too, yeah girl. All right. Yeah, you got that. Well. That eighth note, the bit of a reggae beat when you got that sound. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high, or you will get your digital clipping. Oh man, we have a lot of fun around here, don't we? Things don't always go exactly to plan, but that's kind of the point, isn't it? If you're not having an absolute blast creating music, then what are you doing? Like, you might as well. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun times. This is the good things in life, is creating music. And again, because we're in a digital system, you've got unlimited retries. There you go. Don't set your input gain too high. Listen to Reggae Pete. Set your input gain at 50 to 70%. There you go. I could have just said that, but I think it's way more fun to do it that way. Where are we at? We're going to, we do, oh, by the way, yeah, if you do have questions and answers, you can do this. Just curious, can a single note be tuned in GB? Yes and no. I've actually got a video about this, Dawn. So what you do, I'll give you a quick demo. So let's just say, because we've got this up here already, let's just say that there was one note in here that we wanted to tune. Let's just find one that we want to tune. When you got to set your input gain, let's say that gain, let's say gain, I really didn't like that word gain. What we do is, or this is my method for doing this, is I will duplicate this track, I will copy, not cut, don't do that, I'll copy the whole track, and then I'll come down to my next track and I'll paste it in down here. And then what we'll do is we'll grab this one here, and where there's a word, where was it? The gain one, wasn't it? Was this? Set your input gain. Yeah, that gain. That's the one we want to do. So let's just say that we only wanted that one. Well, what I do is I actually split out here on both of these. So we'll split in that spot, we'll split in that spot. We'll work out where we want the tuning to be. And because you can't use automation here in GarageBand iOS, this is kind of the only way to do it. So we'll split that out there. And you're probably ahead of me here, but what we want to do is we want to delete out everything on this track like that. Delete, delete, and then we want to delete this. So what this is going to do is give us independent control over two tracks. So we'll just turn the volume down a little bit on both of these. So say we didn't want tuning on the vocal at all. So we'll come in here, we'll turn off your pitch control on the vocal there. We'll come back to here, and then we'll grab this one, and this one does have our pitch control on it. Maybe not that much because it sounded a bit T-painy there. And what this will do is, yeah, again, you're probably ahead of me, but as we're playing along here, when it's on this track, no pitch control, this track is pitch control. And then you can go through, and any note, if you just need a little bit of a help on one note, you can grab that note and you can paste it down into the other one. So if we take a listen to this, you'll hear no pitch control at the start. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it to. So yeah, you've just got that one with no pitch control, that one with pitch control. So there you go. That is how you do exactly that. Yes, if anyone else has any questions, yes, we do. We need more songs about gain staging. Oh, don't tempt me, Tom. I could do an entire gain staging song. That would be kind of fun. All right. Tip of the week. That was it. Let's continue on to our plugin or app of the week. So if you have a song like my epic song here, and you want to export it as an MP3, GarageBand doesn't let you do that. So how do we export from GarageBand iOS as an MP3? We can't actually do it, but we can convert it quite easily using a voice recorder app. Yeah, you heard me. It's actually really simple to do. So here I've got my new reggae tune here about gain staging. It's very cool. We're going to export this first of all as a WAV file. So that's our first step. We're going to tap out here, and here it is. It's called My Song. We'll give it a name. We'll call it Reggae Gain, because that's what we're talking about. So Reggae Gain, it's going to be the big hit you're going to hear in all the clubs this summer. So we firstly need to export this. So we're going to tap and hold, and we're going to hit the share button, yeah? So we're sharing this. We're sharing it as a song. Here's the problem though. We've only got WAV, AIF, or M4A, Apple's compression format. Sometimes, you're entering a competition or you're sending it to a radio station, they might say we must have MP3. In 2021, there is no reason why they should only be able to support MP3, but they have their reasons. So how do we do this? Well, we first of all do it as a WAV. So there you go. We've exported that as a WAV file. Now, what we can do from here, what I recommend doing here is actually saving it first. So to do this, we go to open in, weirdly enough. So we go open in, it's going to export our song, and then we can actually decide where we're going to open it into. And this is where I'm going to tell you about an app called Voice Record 7. So you can download it. I'll link it in the description here. It's called Voice Record 7 Pro, I believe. And you might be thinking, a voice recorder app, Pete, why would I use that? Well, it's actually got a really good audio conversion engine in there. So we're going to show you how to do this now. So I've got it set up here already because I've used it a bunch of times. If you don't have it there, once you've installed it, you hit the More button here, and here are all the apps I can use for audio. I've got it set to my favorites here, but if we edit here and we get rid of it, say I didn't, I'll remove it from there. What you would do the first time you're using this is that you'll come in here, it won't be there in your favorites, and you come right over to the right here, you hit More, and then you scroll on down until you find Voice Record 7, which is there. We tap it. And look at this, it opens it up in here. Now, I haven't used this in a while, so I'm gonna have to calibrate the voice engine. The audio engine is gonna do the calibration for us here. This is 100% free, it is ad supported. You'll see some ads down the bottom here, but apart from that, 100% free. So there you go, it's been imported. My file Reggae Gain has been imported into the library. So now if we find Reggae Gain, which is this one here, you can see it's separated into date order, where the 18th of May here, Reggae Gain here. We can actually tap on this one, and you've got a whole bunch of options here. So you can play it, you can send it via email, you can create videos using this of your audio. There's a bunch of cool stuff that we can do. But what we want to actually do is do our conversion. Now you can come here and just do convert to MP3. That'll do it instantly for you. But I'm going to point you to this one, Advanced Converter, because this will let you set all of the specifications of your file. So we'll tap Advanced Converter, and here you've got Convert to MP4 is the preset. We don't want that. We want to use the Convert to MP3, or in fact, I've created a high quality MP3 already, but you won't have that. So Convert to MP3. So we've got MP3 here, the settings. So we can either match the source or we can do manual. So I tend to do manual just so that I can make sure everything's working here. So my sample rate here, 44.1 kilohertz. That is what GarageBand uses. That's what you want to leave it at. Bit rate here. So the higher the bit rate, the better quality. There's a lot of other things that go into bitrate, but just trust me that you probably don't want it at 128 or lower. You want this at least at 192. I recommend 320 because you're going to get the best balance of quality, but also file size in there. Stereo, you can have stereo there. MP3 is only stereo, so you can't change that there. And your encode quality, you want that to be high. It will therefore tell you how much disk it's going to use, 2.4 megabytes, and what its estimated file size would be. All we need to do now is hit convert. It's going to go away and convert that WAV file and create an MP3. There it is. There's our MP3 file. If we want to play it, we just hit play. When you got to set your input gain. Can stop that, and then we can do a bunch of things here. So if you then want to do something with this, well, we come down here to activities and airdrop. So we wanted to save this over to our files so we can use it to upload to Google Drive, to email, to send to someone, whatever we want to do. Activities and airdrop, and we go audio. It's going to bring up our very familiar share sheet. So now we can send it over to LumaFusion, we can chuck it into iMovie if we're creating a video of our song, or we can save it to files for posterity. So we've got Reggae Gain here. I'll just throw it here in my Studio Live Today folder, hit save, and there you go. It's there, and if we want to come and find it, we can just go over here to Files, iCloud Drive. We can go to my Studio Live Today folder, which is there, and where is it? There it is, Reggae Gain. So there's the file. We can actually use this from within our Files app. We can zip it up, we can share it, we can do what we want, and of course, we can play it to learn about gain staging. When you got to set your input gain, you don't want it too high. That is going to be in your head all day. You're welcome. Alrighty. We have come to pretty much the end of the show here. I hope you found that one useful. Yeah, exactly. Voice Record Pro 7 is amazing. It is just super, super cool, and you do want to go and grab it. Yep, definitely grab that one. Yeah, if you don't have it already, it's free. It's totally free, and people are like, oh, where's a good MP3 converter? If you search MP3 converter in Apple, in iOS, it's really hard. There's no good converters, but there is one hidden within that one, within your Voice Record Pro 7. Alrighty, we're going to finish up here, but we've got one more thing that we do every week, and that is our resource of the week. And because I'm bad at self-promotion, I forgot to tell you this at the start of the show. But this show today is brought to you by the GarageBand Beginner's Guide. Now, trust me, despite what you've seen about GarageBand on Mac, I do know my way around GarageBand iOS. And if you are starting out with GarageBand iOS, if you're a beginner or an intermediate user, or you are GarageBand curious, you can check this one out. This is my GarageBand Beginner's Guide. It is just $10. It is completely interactive. It is 5 hours worth of GarageBand goodness. You've got a whole bunch of stuff in there that you can check out. It's handpicked, interactive, and you've even got the ability to message me directly from within the app. If you are having issue, you can use it on your mobile device, you can use it on your Mac or your PC. And again, it is $10. It opened at $10. It launched for $10. It will always be $10. So I say that because, I've been asked a few times, like, oh, yeah, would you like to launch a course? And have you seen these courses that are like, it's valued at $97, but for just this week, it's only $17. Always got to end in a 7. It's only $17. All you need to do is sell me your soul, your firstborn child, and I'll be on your mailing list forever. So no, none of that. Just buy it, $10, use it forever. Simple as that. There you go. You can head to studiolive today.com/courses to check out that one. And as I mentioned, we got very, very fun times coming tomorrow. We're going to do our GarageBand marathon. So keep an eye on the channel. If you're on GarageBand users, I'll make sure it's on there as well. And it will be in the description of this video. I did mean to set it up before the live show, but if you're watching the live show, come back and check it out. Tomorrow, around about this time, in about an hour from this time tomorrow, we'll be kicking that off. So we'll be here. We'll be doing about 4 hours worth of GarageBand tips and tricks and hacks, and we'll be playing episodes 1 to 50 of my GarageBand Quick Jam series live here on the channel. Should be a whole lot of fun. Thanks everyone for being here. As we say at the end of every show, please be kind to yourselves, be kind to others, keep creating, and rock on. See you later.